So on today's project, this little dinette seat, like I say, we took a beating on this trip, and this dinette seat has pulled away from the wall here. We're going to have to do something with that. I think I'm going to do some kind of L bracket. And then here is what I've noticed what happened. You see that metal piece that's laying down here, right here? That actually was welded on there and it's broke loose. So that whole support thing is busted. So I'm going to have to put L brackets on on both corners, and then we'll mount it back to the wall. And I have a special thing that actually puts holes into the wall that we can actually put a threaded setup on that, and that's what I'm going to use to do this with. But I'll show you what we're going to use. But we're going to get this thing reattached, try to do something to support this side a little bit better without having to tear all the paneling off, and we're going to get to that. And also, you'll see there's a plug came out of the wall right there, so we're going to have to secure it a little bit better. But anyway, that's the project, and we'll get to it step by step. We're going to go ahead and take this. This actually has screws in it, so we can take this panel loose and we can get to this side over here, because we want to get a good anchor up here in this top corner as well. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And the last screw. See what we got to see. There it is. Now you can see over here, you can see where the two have pulled out completely out of the wall here. So we're going to take this thing and push it while our piece of metal is broke here, and we're going to push it back and make special attach points here and here and put new stuff in there. So we're going to put a permanent feature. You notice right there, that's an actual where is it? Yeah, right there. That's a nut. That's actually a nut fixture that goes in there, and it actually expands and it makes a nut plate in the wall. So we're going to put one there, and possibly one up here on the wall. And that's done with this tool here. You'll see this tool. Basically what happens is on these, I said with my other videos, if you haven't watched one of those, you take this set here. This is a certain set size screw, and this is a actual 1/4 by 20 screw. So you take this piece here, you put it in this little pinching mechanism here, and it actually swells up behind the wall, gives you a nut plate, and then basically you get to use these size screws here. This is the size screw. I'm actually going to have to go get some longer ones, and these are actually 1/4 by 20 screws. But I'm going to get some that are a little bit longer, but not long enough they're going to poke all the way through your ass tail on the outside. So I need to get one about another 1/2 inch longer. So to do this, you'll need a drill bit. It has to be the size, not the wide part of this, but the narrow part. So basically this is the size I'm used to here. I'm not sure what this one is, but you'll have to compare your drill. You want it just barely big enough for this to fit in. So this one here at the top, I gotta take my wall. I don't want to force it too much to break my welds at the bottom, so I'm gonna bring it out just enough to get this hole drilled, get it installed. Already got the proper size in here. You pull your handles all the way out like this, and you screw this down with the flange towards you. Goes all the way down, and then we're going to punch it into the wall. So then you put it on here like this. You put it all the way into the hole. Make sure you got somewhere where you can pinch it all the way down. I'm about to get a better angle on that. Squeeze down all the way, and then come back, you unscrew it from that swedge. There you go, you got a nut plate built in. So what I found on these side walls on the dinette is there is a metal piece built into this wall. And when you first screw in there, you could try to thread back into that aluminum again, but when I did, it just didn't want to pull in. So what I did is I went ahead and drilled through that aluminum and made sure I didn't keep on going all the way through outside. And then I got one of my swedges in there, so I'm going to put a screw through that, and I may put one down lower. We'll just have to see if I'm going to put another one in there or not. 1/4 by 20 by 2 inch long. Now I could have dished the 1.5 inch, but I wanted to make sure it went down in and caught some threads. But if you notice here, I've added washers. I needed washers anyway, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't go too far, because once you go into that tubing, you can break through the other side and come through the wall on the other side. So just wanted to make sure I had plenty of washers. And like I say, when I did that 1.5, it really didn't seem like it was big enough. So I'm using these 2s, and they snugged it up real nice and tight here. Got a little bit of a gap there. So this part here, I've got the 2 in there with the nut plates. So now we're going to take this metal piece here and we're going to reattach it to the wall here, and then we're going to have to bust off some of that place where it was welded. That way it'll sit flat, and we're going to put L brackets on here to hold that piece in place to the actual aluminum. So that cleaned off that piece of weld on there pretty good. So on both sides I did that. That way this metal piece will fit up against there, and we won't have to worry about we can put our L brackets in the corner and it won't get in the way. Attach my bar to the wall there, and so now what I'm doing now is I'm taking these angle brackets and I've go ahead and I've marked it. You can see where I've marked it there, and over here on this side. So that way I'm going to go ahead and put my anchors in here, get those 2 installed, and then last of all we'll do the anchors on this side once this bar is installed. So there's the metal piece with the braces in place. I'm going to dry fit it up against the wall, and then I'll mark my sides to have them actually screwed into the side. Mark these here for our little nut plates. I'm going to installing those. So now we've got those nut plates built in there. So we're going to loosely tighten it again, try to get everything lined up, which that's the tricky part. So all the bolts are in finger tight and tightened up a little bit. So now we're just going to tighten up these 2 on this side and then the 2 on the other side. And then we're going to tighten the last ones, will be the ones into the wall. Which will be this one and that one. So there you go. We've got that corner fixed up, get it snugged down. Now, last of all, we're going to fix this electrical plug, which I think it just popped out. And then we'll have to put the panel back on the back here, and we'll be almost done. So that plug went in pretty well. And I guess the worst thing about this project is, other than you guys seeing me do this is something that'll never show. Once I cover it all up, everybody will be like, oh, what'd you spend 2 Sundays doing? Well, put all this stuff back together. So that's what's kind of bad about this. Like I say, it's just stuff that has to be done to keep the camper from falling apart. So So that project's completed. Nice snug up against the wall. It's now supported really well. Hopefully that'll take care of that. And we'll be going on to the next project. So I hope that helped you out on this project. And like I say, after these things get banged around so long, some of that stuff has to be done or reattached to the wall. So I hope that helped you out in doing that. But that's all we have for this video, and we'll get back with you and hopefully see you again on another one of the videos.